Welcome back to another 40 Facts about the 40k universe. I am your host Gersh1 and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue our talk about the Horus Heresy. It's funny how we started a 40k series, but we've been talking about 30k so much. Kind of funny. But today is part 4 of the Horus Heresy. We're going to be talking about what went down after the drop site massacre and what happened during the, phases after or in between the drop site massacre and the assault on Terra. So let's get into this 40 facts about the Horus Heresy. Fact number 1. Traitor losses during the Battle of the Isfahan system and the Paramar system were in the region of about 100,000 Space Marine fatalities, compared to perhaps 3 or 4 times as high of a death toll for those who remain loyal to the Emperor. Fact number 2. Over 3,000 vessels jolted for position above Isfahan 5, and the 8 legions struggled for position. Tanks and monstrous war machines had been lifted from the planet with incredible efficiency, and an armada greater than any in the history of the Great Crusade assembled to take the fire of war into the very heart of the Imperium. Fact number 3. The traitor legions salvaged a large number of vehicles, war gear, and other war material from what the loyalist legions had left on the field of Isfahan 5. Some of these equipments would still be in service with certain Chaos Space Marine warbands in the late 41st millennium. Fact number 4. Horus called for a conclave of the Primarchs of all 8 of the traitor legions aboard his flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. There they would devise their assault of Terra. 5 of the Primarchs, including 4 who had fought on Isfahan 5, met in person, including Horus, Fulgrim, Angron, Mortarion, and Lorgar. 3 appeared through the use of holograms that transmitted their signals through the warp, including Perturabo, Night Haunter, and Magnus the Red. Fact number 5. Horus has gained support from the Mechanicus of Mars. This betrayal was known as the Schism of Mars. Fact number 6. An estimated 900,000 Legionnaire Astartes were under the Warmaster's control, and yet this was simply not large enough in scale to make an immediate and direct assault on Terra, not against the superhuman warriors who held it, the Lego Custodes, and the defenses designed by the Emperor's own hand, and garrisoned by Rogodorn and his sons, the Imperial Fist. Fact number 7. The fleets of Angron, Fulgrim, Mortarion, Lorgar, and Horus would rendezvous at Mars, courtesy of the tech priest Regulus, where the forges of Mars were free to supply the Warmaster's army. Fact number 8. The warriors of Alpharius were to seek out and attack the White Scars of the Khan before they could join forces with the Space Wolves operating in the region of Prospero. Fact number 9. The Night Haunter's fleet had already departed, bound for the planet of Tusgulas, a remote world in the eastern fringe. The Night Lord's terror troops would begin a campaign of genocide against the imperial stronghold of Thramas and Heroldar in the star system. If not taken, this would leave the flanks of the Warmaster's strike on Terra vulnerable to attack. Fact number 10. The Thramas system was of particular importance, as it comprised a number of Mechanicus Forge worlds that were still loyal to the Emperor. This campaign would also serve to tie up the dreaded Dark Angels. Fact number 11. The ships of the Iron Warriors prepared to make a journey to the Foul system, where a large fleet of Imperial Fist were known to be regrouping after a failed attempt to reach Isfahan 5. Fact number 12. Horus commanded large numbers of human troops drawn from massive Imperial army regiments, elite ranks of Solar Auxilia, planetary militia, and rogue traitor companies. Fact number 13. Some accounts suggest that rogue traders continued their exploration of the outer darkness even as the heresy continued to consume the Imperium. claiming untold worlds not in the name of the Emperor, but of the Warmaster. Some even establish pocket empires far beyond the Imperium, crowning themselves as the Warmasters. Fact number 14. Horus needed a vast armada to transport his mobilized war machines, and the Warmaster emplaced numerous hidden agents, cults, spies, and assassins onto warp-capable voidcrafts to ensure their allegiance to the Warmaster. Fact number 15. Horus also had the support of the Dark Mechanicum and a powerful element of the Martian priesthood, the Ordo Reductor and the Religio Cybernetica, all drawn together by the Fabricator General Kalbor Ha. Fact number 16. Half of the legions of the Titanicus, as well as a dozen of the allied knight houses, pledged their allegiance to Horus. Fact number 17. Forge worlds such as Sarum, Vas, and Styx had declared themselves traitors, with other forge worlds such as Anvilus and Rise paralyzed by civil war. Fact number 18. Few worlds were untouched by the presence of long-implanted agents, terrorist cells, and mercenaries of different cults of origin. Fact number 19. Horus could call upon the entities of the warp known by some by the ancients and arcane terms demons. These demons could appear on the planet where the greatest amount of blood had been shed, and as the war continued, these areas grew in number. Fact number 20. In the aftermath of the Dropsite massacre, the Imperium was plunged into a period of anarchy that future historians would know as the Age of Darkness. Fact number 21. During the Age of Darkness, the warp was in turmoil, making voyages across the void hazardous, while communications by astral telepathy over any extended distance was all but impossible. Fact number 22. The fate of Terra fell on the shoulders of Rogel Dorn. He was to concentrate on building Terra's defenses for the inevitable traitor onslaught to come. Rogel Dorn lost the support of Mars, but had the vast military assets located on Terra, including such elite forces as the Legio Custodes and the powerful Armada Imperialis Battlefleet Solar on the Saturn shipyards. Fact number 23. Mars had become a deadly thorn in the Emperor's side, needing constant watchful blockade through the Civil War. Fact number 24. The survivors of the Iron Hands chapter were fractured after the Dropsite massacre. Some would form isolated bands fighting for their own private wars against the traitors, such as the infamous Red Talons of Autek Mor. Others followed Shadrach Medusan. Fact number 25. The survivors of the Salamander's Legion joined the bitter Shadow War against the traitors either as part of a Shattered Legion warband or more rarely as a coerced force entirely of their own, such as those who followed the so-called Prophet of Fire at the Siege of Mezoa and the Liberators of Goth, while the small guard forces of Nocturne, their homeworld, acted in aggressive defense of their native region in accordance to their oath, continuing to raise recruits in their Primarch's name and their legion's traditions. Fact number 26. On both sides, Space Marines turned their coats to serve another master. Stories and evidence long since suppressed of midnight-clad warriors in defaced Night Lords' armor attacked traitor forces at the liberation of Esteban III. Fact number 27. There is evidence of a great company of the Space Wolf's Legion bearing a symbol of the Serpent's Eye, slaughtering millions at Neocadis, or of a company of Legion Astartes present at the Siege of Mezoa, bearing the hybrid arm of the Iron Hands and the Sons of Horus Legion. Fact number 28. The Black Shields was a term used to depict Space Marines of the traitorous legions that had covered their faction symbol to complete black, denouncing Horus and fighting against their own factions for the Emperor. Most of these factions were too far away from their parent faction to be influenced. Fact number 29, perhaps an even more sinister enigma, are the persistent reports of Space Marine forces appearing and bearing no sign or seal of origin. Whether the Black Legionnaires were merely turncoats, or as so many have whispered, perhaps raised by the traitors from the chimeric gene seed of the Isvan dead for their own terrible purpose, none can say for certain what they were. Fact number 30. With the divisions on both sides blurred, the only true defending commanders were the Emperor of Mankind, Malcador, Robert Gilliman, Rogaldorn, Lehman Russ, Lionel Johnson, Jangantai Khan, Sanguinius, Vulcan, Corax, and various Imperial Army commanders. Fact number 31. The traitorous commanders included Warmaster Horus, Fulgrim, Lorgar, Perturabo, Mortorion, Angron, Magnus the Red, Conrad Kurz, Alfarius Omegon, and Kelbor Hal of the Dark Mechanicus. Fact number 32. To each world over which the Warmaster's shadow fell, a simple choice was given: total submission and surrender, or total destruction and brutal subjugation, slavery or death. There were no other options and no second chances. This became known as the Dark Compliance. Fact number 33. A proverb that illustrates dark compliance is as followed: the slaves care not whose hand wields the whip or why, knowing only the authority of its touch, the discipline of its voice, and the certainty of the pain. Fact number 34. Those planets occupied by chaos prayed to the Emperor for release from their torment, and the strength of the Lectitio Divinitatis cult that believed in the Emperor's divinity only began to grow as the nightmare of civil war scoured the Imperium of Man. Fact number 35. An example of Horus conquering entire sectors was the conquest of Manachea. Fact number 36. The conquest of Manachea provided a template for the scores of campaigns which came after it, both in terms of strategy and the savage conquest involved for those worlds which fell into the traitorous grasp. Fact number 37. The conquest of Manachea, led personally by Horus and his inner commanders, was itself the centerpiece of an interlinked series of campaigns, fleet action, and local wars which swept like storms through the celestial region, sometimes referred to as the Coronid Thule. Fact number 38. The region in which the conquest of Manachea occurred encompassed the frontier border area of the Segmentus Obscurus and the Ultima Segmentum, and constituted some of the most industrialized regions of the Northern Imperium at the time. Fact number 39. This region had been effectively cut away from the regular direct contact with the Segmentum Solar, owing to the rising tide of the warp turbulence which would accumulate in the so-called Ruin Storm, which would follow on from the dark events at Calth. We will get into the events of Calth in future fact videos. Fact number 40. Over the next 7 Terran years, the combined Traitors fleet spread across the galaxy, unleashing brutal civil war upon many of the planets that they had once helped to bring into the Imperium. And those were 40 facts about the Horus Heresy. Now we are going to continue this series. Like I said, it's going to be a 10-part series. The next episode is going to be talking about the attempted murder of not only the Emperor, but Horus. So we're going to talk about that in the next episode. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share this video with your friends and all your other 40k comrades so that we can get this channel going and we can get more awesomeness out there. Now, in the last episode, I told you guys that I was working on a painting scheme, a Raven Guard painting scheme for my Space Wolves, and I asked, or I told you guys that I had trouble with white. Specifically, the black wash that I use doesn't really... It takes away so much of the white, and then I go over it with like a dry brush of white, but that doesn't cover it. So what hints do you guys have for a good black wash, or what good black wash do you guys use? Either way, I hope your painting is going well. Please comment down below and let me know what type of videos you guys want to hear about in the lore, and also what you're painting. It would be really interesting to know if you're painting a cool Eldar army with a cool paint scheme or whatever. Just comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.